It's so great to be with you all today, and I am so happy to be talking today with Brittney Buffo, and we are going to be talking about just certain elements of storytelling. That's our theme today, is the art of the story. As you know, what we really care about is the arts are the answer, a really great way to transform just about everything that we can ever see in our lives, from something that might be broken or something that might be just beginning to something really wonderful, transformative for everyone. And so, Brittney, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
So let's talk about, you're a producer, you are writing movies, you're doing so many different things, and you're an actress. Let's start talking about the Hara Motion Picture Conservatory.
Sure.
And because you're not just doing the storytelling, but you're training youth to do storytelling.
Yes.
To embody stories, to write stories, to produce stories. Tell me, I understand you just got a new mission statement. Let's start there.
Okay.
What is this new mission statement?
So Hara Motion Picture Conservatory inspires teens to apply creative skills through project-based learning. And the project-based learning is filmmaking.
That's brilliant, especially because one of the things that we know nowadays is that when people think about what students are going to need in the future, I keep coming across information that says the future of work is creativity.
Yes.
And I also keep coming across things that talk about the 21st century skills, collaboration, creativity, being able to generate something.
Take initiative.
Take initiative.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like such a new idea all of a sudden, but here you are taking students. How many students are you serving these days? How are you doing?
Well, it depends on the season. We try to do at least 4 per year. And so last year we had 24 who were in the season that produced War of the Limelight. So in the couple years we've done over 100 students.
That's so amazing. So tell me about your, I came across your Hara technique.
Yes.
And I'm so fascinated by that. And so my understanding is that as you're working with the students, that's one of the first things you walk them through. What is it? And then also, can you tell us a little bit about how did you get there?
Sure. Well, Hara is structured energy. It's becoming centered and grounded, and so it's like coming to center. That's the best way to put it.
And what does it stand for? H-A-R-A?
HARA stands for Heart Aligned Response Access. So we access it's a meditative space, essentially, and it comes from an ancient term from martial arts.
Oh, okay.
And so it's about softening your feet, grounding your energy, and getting really centered and grounded in your body and in your own truth and who you are, and becoming aware of what it is I'm feeling, I'm thinking, I'm experiencing, rather than looking outwards, looking inwards, and then coming from that place. Does that make sense?
And does it make sense to the teens too, as you work with them? It really resonates with them in some way. So, so tell me more about how, like, when you're working with the teens, what is the part of that process that's the hardest for them?
Of the process of making the film?
No, of the technique.
Of
mastering
Hara
that technique. Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure what would be the most difficult part. I think they need to be able to get quiet. And I think maybe that, because we're so overstimulated, we're so overprogrammed, and there's so many things going on, and I mean, even for me, I'm just like constantly distracted. So getting to that quiet space, and meditation, we think, needs to be like Om. It doesn't have to be that way. It could be a walking in nature or whatever. And with Hara, it's just a matter of like, okay, getting in the moment. And sometimes we do physical movement exercises where we're moving around the room. These are exercises you do in theater classes and things as well. And just being able to get in the moment, get present with what is happening right here and now, thinking, feeling, experiencing, and then being able to react authentically to what's happening in the moment with another person in the room, rather than, thinking ahead or thinking in the past, but being really present.
So how are you connecting? You're teaching them how to become actors, and then how does that part of their filmmaking experience?
I love that question. I do, because we want them to think whole picture thinking.
Okay.
So even though they're learning acting training, the acting training is good for all aspects of it. So
Okay.
as a director, even as an editor, understanding, all parts of it, because it helps you understand yourself. I feel like acting training is very much, you know what I mean, inquiry into who am I, what am I here for, what is my purpose, what do I want to do with my life. And so as an actor, you're just cultivating that instinct, that muscle. And so I don't remember what the question was, but
well, I'm so interested in the whole process, and I understand that ultimately the kids that you're working with are going to be creating a film, but that you start them with this process of being an actor and being able to do those things.
Yes.
So that's because you really want them, no matter what their final role is going to be, to understand that heart of, because ultimately the actors are the storytellers.
Yes.
Aren't they?
Yes. So before we can take on a character, it's almost like learning, how do I become neutral? How do I be completely like a blank slate? And then knowing as a person, we each have our own personality and ways, defenses or masks we put on. How can we get really neutral and non-judgmental? And then, because there always has to be a villain in the story too, right? So being able to get neutral and then put on these layers energetically of what that actor, has to portray as a character. And then from there, story, and then going into story, and then creating those new original ideas from there.
So it sounds like one of the most important kinds of stories is the hero's journey.
Yes.
And especially for a teen, and I'm realizing as a mom of a teen, maybe I need to look at this more. Can you talk us through how you handle the hero's journey in the context of what you're trying to do with these teens?
Sure, yeah. So the first week we focus, in the summer, we're going to be focusing on acting training. And then the second week, after we kind of develop these characters, I like to call them, then we decide, what's the story? Who's the hero of the story? And then what do they have to go through? And so I like to start from the end.
So, and I understand we have some clips of the hero's journey?
Yes, I did it through the MGM 1939 movie, The Wizard of Oz, a classic.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. So talk us through some of that process.
Sure. So the first picture I chose was, of course, Judy Garland. She is Dorothy. She is the hero. And how do we know she's the hero? So we know she's the hero because the movie focuses on her and what she's going through. And then the next one I have is when she arrives. She runs away from home. We know because of Toto. And then this is a wonderful. I love this scene because it foreshadows what's to happen later. And so she meets the wizard. The tornado happens, and this next one is the call to adventure. So this establishes her as the hero because she's the one who's the house landed on the Wicked Witch, and so she's the one that saves the day, right?
Yeah.
So then the next picture is, this is the symbol that sets her apart.
Oh,
so
okay.
A lot of times in a story,
Wow.
they'll get a sword, or it'll be bestowed on them.
Something.
So for Dorothy, she gets her special shoes, her ruby slippers. And this is kind of, there's no turning back now. She meets Glenda. There's no turning back. Glenda is her mentor. This is called the threshold.
Oh, wow.
So there's usually some sort of inspiration, a mentor, a guardian that helps them along the way, and Glenda is that. And then this is our initiation. This is the call to action, call to adventure, is that, uh-oh, now I'm in trouble, right? So she, the Wicked Witch of the West comes, and this is her enemy that she's going to have to face, right? You have to go through this journey. Then she meets her allies,
Okay.
right, on the journey.
Right.
And they go towards the, what is this called again? The Emerald City.
Emerald City.
The Emerald
yeah.
City. And then next, right? So here we are. This is the test phase, right? So
Okay.
as you go through the journey, the hero has to come to a test.
Right.
And as we know, he says, you need to go get the broom.
Yes, the challenge.
You need to go
Sort of
get the broom from the wicked witch. So
Yeah.
she has to face her fear. So the next one, she does face the fear, and then she gets captured. And this is called the edge. This is when the character has to confront their greatest fear, and the hero may appear to be losing everything.
Yeah.
So in this part of the movie, she thinks, it's over for me. I'm never going to see my family again.
I'm not good enough to
Right.
do this challenge.
Right. I can't, I'm never going to win. How am I going to overcome this obstacle that I'm in? This is like the greatest obstacle now. So then she does. She faces it. And as we know from the story, she throws the water on her and she melts, and there's a death. So in every story, there's a death, whether it's literal or it's figurative. But in this case, there is a death. She herself has an inner death over her own fear.
Uh-huh.
And then the reward is she did what she accomplished what she went out to do from that test. But in this story, what I love is that there's kind of a twist here where she finds out that there's the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
So
That's the best part.
So then after that, we know that, okay, we think, this is the reward. She has overcome the death. But remember, the balloon goes away.
Yeah.
So my favorite one is the next one. This is called atonement. This is atonement, and it's, if you break down the word atonement, at one mint, meaning that she realizes that she had the power all along to go home. Yeah. That what was on her feet, her secret weapon, her secret power was with her all inside. Along. It was all inside the whole time, and so she realizes she's complete. And now the last thing, there's a return. She returns home with a gift, and her gift is what she learned from her journey. And now she's different. She's realizes she is grateful for her family. She realizes that all the things that happened were to help her realize who she really is, and that she has the power inside all along.
That is so amazing. I must have seen it, especially when I was a kid, of course.
Yeah.
Well, when the monkeys came and things, I had to run under the bed for years and years.
Yes.
I couldn't do that. But so I watched it every single year for maybe 10, 11, 12 years. And to see it in this kind of context and the way you break it down, it's really, really amazing. And I see it more as a parent in some ways, and other things where I keep seeing that sense of almost breaking down and then somehow finding the resolve. And I've been watching basketball lately, watching the Warriors, and they'll do the same thing. They get to the edge, almost breaking down, and then they somehow find it within themselves to do a little bit more. Yes. So when you're working with the teens and they're going through all this, what resonates the most with them right now at the age that they are? You're working with teens from about 12 to 15 or 16?
15 to 18.
15 to 18. So do you find that they each resonate with different parts, or is there something in common where they're just at a stage in their life where this particular segment of that storytelling process is especially meaningful for them, or something new?
I think it all boils down to, we all want to be seen and heard. And I think that's what it boils down to, is that in the Hara classroom, what's meaningful for them is that their ideas are heard, they're seen, they're able to express them in a place where we really can reflect back to them, I see you. Yeah. And so as part of the storytelling process, it's empowering, because it's like, I can imagine something and share it.
Yes.
And we talk about it's a gift.
Yeah.
And you don't expect, always, to get your gift, whatever, to be returned, or be thankful for that gift. But you give it. You just give your ideas freely as gifts.
Wow.
And then we take that from there, and we build the story, and we build it together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you think of any particular moments in any of the groups that you've worked with where you really felt like they got your gift, that they got what you were trying to teach them, and you could really see it in that moment?
Oh, yeah. I see it in their faces. I see it as they bloom. You know, I think I was sharing with you earlier, as I see them go through the process of, oh, I didn't realize this is something I could do.
Yes.
And then they go through the whole process and there's this sense of, oh, I did it.
They transformed too. Just the same, they took the hero's
journey.
They didn't even realize.
Too, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, because they had to embark on an adventure, something they haven't done before, and you know, and I like what you said about kind of coming towards that critical point, that like climax.
Breakdown.
And I love this, at the brink of defeat, there's surrender. So like learning that at the brink of any defeat, you think you're going to be defeated, there's that sense of surrender, and then having to turn inwards and then draw from within to defeat the dragon or whatever, you know.
Well, I'm so grateful for your work and your willingness to work with these teens and give them so much inner strength, and then also these skills that they'll take with them forever, anywhere. And especially nowadays, you know, this is really, really critical for all of us to be able to do these things and to connect, to have empathy. All these things are so critical. So if there are people out there who really would like to connect with you directly, they have neighbors, friends, kids that should go into your program, how do they connect with you?
The website is Hara, Hara, motionpictures, plural.com.
Plural.
Plural. So Hara, motionpictures.com.
I look forward to hearing more.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.